It took me 3 years to earn my first stripe. And if that sounds crazy, you're right. Let me explain. Today is February 11th of 2025. I started training on May the 24th, 2021. And if you take away the time that I stopped doing jiu-jitsu, it's a little over 3 years of time training this wonderful thing we call jiu-jitsu. And in all that time, I never earned a stripe. Never, not once. And that might sound crazy, but it's not, because my old school, my former university, I call it Keep Showing Up University, didn't stripe. They never gave out any stripes. They never gave out any real, markers for progress. It was just keep showing up, and one day, surprise, you get a blue belt. And that's how they do things, and that's their prerogative. I still love those guys. I'm happy for them, and they can continue to do things their way. But it was very disheartening. I've said it in other videos that while I was there for 3 years, I saw one person get promoted from brown to black, one person go from blue to purple, and 3 people go from white to blue in 3 years. So promotions were freaking rare, and stripes were non-existent. And so tonight, I got to do class number 1. It seems poetic that we started at the beginning of the Combatives freaking curriculum. Class number 1, the trap and roll and the leg hook takedown. That was the class we did tonight. And it was my 20th class since joining Gracie University on December the 17th, 2025. Now, all truth and I don't know what to call it, transparency, I took a class at Gracie University Fullerton on Americana, and that counted toward my total of 20. But I did a couple of two-a-days, and you know what? Dang it, tonight was class number 20, which means I got my first freaking stripe. And I recorded some stuff before this. I don't know if I'll use it, but I recorded a video before walking in and saying how excited I was to get this stripe because I hadn't had any real signs of progress. I hadn't had any real indicators that I was getting better and that I was getting somewhere. Now, of course, when you're rolling, if you tap someone, that's cool. But I tapped other white belts and the occasional blue belt. So I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm really killing it. And maybe if I'd done a competition or something, maybe I'd won a medal or came in second, whatever. I might have felt like, hey, my jiu-jitsu is progressing. But that didn't really happen. And I'm okay with that. Real talk, all sincerity, 100% transparency. I know that I was getting better. I know that I was getting good. I could see my progression. I know that me versus me, the first day that I started way back in May of 2021, me today would wipe the floor with that guy. But I didn't have any proof. It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to show it. I always felt like I was smarter than average. I always felt like I was of above average intelligence. I took IQ tests and things that said I was of above average intelligence. And then I thought I was smarter than the rest of the world, and I never went to college. I worked in sales. I started my own business. I had a bunch of hustles, that didn't require a college degree. And that's how I basically fed my family, took care of myself up until pretty much the pandemic. Well, that's not 100% true, because right before the pandemic, 2018, I got my bachelor's degree in theology and religion, believe it or not, because I wanted to work in the church. I did work in the church, and that was an interesting experience. That's a topic for another time. Needless to say, I don't work there anymore. But then when the pandemic hit and sales and all the whole thing shut down, I said, holy crap, I need to do something different. I need to do something to provide for my family that doesn't require sales and doesn't require, a strong economy, whatever, something that's recession proof. And so I went back to school, USC, got my master's, and I became a high school teacher. So now, with a master's degree from USC, one of the best freaking schools in the country, I feel like I have proof that I'm above average intelligence, that I am of above average intelligence, that I did the damn thing. And I got a freaking 4.0 GPA. So I can say, yeah, are you smart? Yeah, I'm smart. I went to USC. I got a master's degree. I got a 4.0. What about it? Are you good at jiu-jitsu? Well, I keep showing up, right? So the fact that now I have some kind of little indicator of progress makes me so ridiculously excited. And I know that if I keep showing up, I'm going to get another one, and I'm going to get better, and I'm going to progress. And if I keep showing up, I'm going to get a 3rd stripe and a 4th stripe. And then for all of my attendance haters, I still have to prove my capacity, my ability, my talent, my skills to get that belt promotion. So yes, you can get those little beautiful pieces of athletic tape for just showing up. But in order to get to that next level, which in this case is the Combatives belt, I have to prove that I know and understand the material, just like a freaking final exam. And I love it because not only do I have the proof that I'm getting better at something, I have a moment, a test, a crucible that says, hey, I did the damn thing and now I'm ready for the next stage. I'm so ridiculously excited at the way that Gracie University puts things together, because for somebody like me who is driven by progress and accomplishments and achievement, and I love lists, and you saw my spreadsheet in the other video, I love this because yes, it is about keep showing up. It is about consistency, but it's nice to have some little mile markers along the way. It's like, say you're going to go to Vegas. Okay. When do I know I'm going to get there? I don't know. You'll know when you hit it, right? You'll know when you see all the fancy lights. Okay. But it's nice to have your little GPS and your little mile markers tell you how far you are, 200 miles to go, 100 miles to go. So regarding the technique, yes, the trap and roll, the UPA as we used to call it, is kind of one of the most basic things in the world. We've done it 100 times. Everybody does it on their first day. It's simple, but I was excited to learn and to practice the neck hug variation and the punch variation, right? So that's something I hadn't done before. We had never trained with punches at my old Keep Showing Up University. You would think that a school that talks as much about self-defense as my old Keep Showing Up, we'd have trained with punches. We never did. We never put on the gloves. There were gloves on the shelf. We never used them. Like I was here yesterday and Gracie had they had the fight simulator master cycle class where they had on gloves and they're punching each other and stuff. And I'm like, that looks like fun. That looks like something I want to do. As a matter of fact, that's something that I asked to do at my old Keep Showing Up University, and they said, yeah, we don't really do that anymore. So it's interesting that I never did a trap and roll with the punch variation. Clinch in the body, climb on up, boom, 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 boom. And then the neck hug variation is another thing we never did, but it was nice to practice. I had a young guy with me. He was a really young guy. I think it was like his second class. He was really small, so I was very careful not to put too much weight on him. But one thing I did struggle with a little bit, and I asked our instructor Guido at the end, I said, hey man, when I'm being taken down on the leg hook, I'm side break falling, but I feel like I'm landing in a heap. And again, it's back to that damn pistol squat. I think I need to just get better at pistol squatting so I don't go down at once, but I can kind of sit. And that's something I need to work on. But I really enjoyed the class. The leg hook takedown, I've done that before, of course, in other classes. The trap and roll is great. There's a couple little details that I learned at my old Keep Showing Up that I think are great, that I think people at Gracie would like to know or would benefit from, but I'm guessing they probably cover those little details to make your trap and roll better in the master cycle. This stuff is great. It'll work with any Joe Blow off the street, but when it comes to Jiu-Jitsu versus Jiu-Jitsu, there's a couple little things that I learned that I think would make it a little better or make it a little more effective. But all in all, great class, great moment. Got my stupid stripe. I even took a couple pictures for my wife, and I took a couple pictures in the locker room for my thumbnail. I don't know which one I'm going to use, but for the YouTube thumbnail. And a couple guys caught me taking my little photo shoot. They're like, hey man, congratulations. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. It's like, for people who are all in this together and we all know what the standard is and we all know what's required, game, recognize game, right? Game, recognize game. If you're watching this and you've got a stripe, just like and put in the comments how many stripes you got. And I mean, maybe you're a blue belt, maybe you're a purple belt, maybe you're a black belt, but you know what? I don't know. I'm just excited. I just want to hear from people. Like, yo, man, how did you feel when you first got your stripe? Tell me how you felt in the comments. Am I overreacting? Am I being like over the top? Am I being dramatic? Am I being ridiculous? But I'm excited and I'm happy about this whole thing. And the guys that I'm training with in these combatives classes, we're all in the same boat. We're all in this together. They're excited too because they know what the process is. They know what the expectation is. So when we achieve something, we can clap for each other. That's a completely different vibe than looking at the guy next to you and wondering, why the hell did he get promoted, right? Like I did that video about the trouble with promotions. Same thing. There's no salt. There's no animosity. There's no envy. There's no competition here because we're all doing the same thing with all the same standards and the same characteristics and the same freaking requirements. I had a guy yesterday, this guy Scott, who I like training with yesterday. He was my partner for class last night. He said he did 3 classes yesterday. He did the 7 a.m., the 11 a.m., and then the 8 p.m. because he's trying to get done with this and get to where he can take his test. And that's fine. That's his prerogative. I'm personally not trying to go that hard and that fast, but that's what he's trying to do. But he knows what's required. I know what's required. So if he gets promoted tomorrow, I'm going to say that guy put in the work. That guy did the same number of classes that's required that I'm going to have to do. And that guy passed the test with a 90 or better, right? Boom, 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 boom. So I think that's it. Trap and roll. and the freaking leg hook takedown. I got to get better at pistol squatting, but the trap and roll was great. Neck hug variation, cool. Punch variation, cool. And I got a freaking strike. So if you made it this far in this video, give me a little clap emoji in the comments. Put the little clap emoji, because we clap for each other. We're clapping for our teammates, our homies, our friends, especially if you're in Gracie University, because we all are on the same page. We all know what's expected of each other, so we don't have the hate or animosity, the fear, the wondering, the questioning of when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? How will I know? We don't have those mysteries here at Gracie University. It's all spelled out for you. At least it is in combatives. I'm not sure what happens in Master Cycle, but I'll let you know when I get there because I'm on my way. So that's all I got for you today. Stay focused, stay positive, stay consistent, and stay vigilant. See you next time.